Hi teachers, I just wanted to come on here and do a short tutorial about how to use No Red Ink. This is a program that's free online. There also is a paid version, but I use the free version in my classroom, and I'm just going to show you some of my favorite things about it. So this is the home page. This is the teacher dashboard, and I'm going to show you how to assign work for your students. So we're going to go in, we're going to click on assign work. It's going to populate the page. I really enjoyed this program because there are different things that you can assign. Usually I just use the diagnostic and the practice, and then I do sometimes give a quiz at the end. I use No Red Ink as independent practice for grammar rules that we've already covered in class. So for the sake of this, I'm just going to say that we're going to do some practice. So there are lots and lots of different skills that your students can practice on here. I have mine set to the 5th grade standards. So these are these are things that 5th graders have to learn. There's also a writing portion, but it'll populate down here. So let's just go to adjectives and adverbs. And there are 23 topics that you can assign to your students, and like I said, I use the free version, but if I had the paid version I could use these unlocked ones. So I'm going to use just part 1, and once you click on the skills that you want your students to learn, I really like that it tells me about how much time it will take my students to complete this section. That gives me a little bit more control, not only like with their time management, but it also gives me a little bit more control and being like, oh, well, I've only got, 20, 25 minutes that I need my students to be practicing. So I'm not going to give them more skills to learn than what they could really complete during that time realistically. So I'm going to click on done. I'm going to assign it to my whole class. I could drop this down and select only certain students, but since this is my real class, for the sake of their privacy, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to assign it on Monday, and then I'm going to have the due date be on Wednesday because I know that my students will be doing this skill on Monday and Tuesday during their independent practice time. And I am going to say independent, practice. And I generally do not assign points because I don't grade this way, but it is a good way for me to see, like how my students are improving and who needs some extra practice. If you are going to use this in your classroom where you are going to be assigning points, you can unclick this box, so then after the date that you said that it was due, they will no longer be able to access it, and you can have their grade reflect that. So I'm going to click assign, and I did just have one new student come in, but then during this I can go in as a teacher and I can see, they're in progress. Okay, so this student has gotten 50% of it done. This student, oh no, they've only gotten 10% done. I need to go and check in with them because they're obviously either struggling or they're not using their time wisely. And then it shows all of the practices that I have assigned before. So like I did a No Red Ink diagnostic with all of the skills in October. So I'm actually going to go back up to the home page because I wanted to show you one more thing that I really enjoy about this program is that I can go and I can view No Red Ink as a student. And I don't know if this is a struggle for any other teachers, but I always feel like I need to make a test account so then I can view whatever it is that I'm assigning online as a student. And you know what? Sometimes it's just kind of a pain to have like one extra student on there, even though they're like not a real student, it's just me. So I really enjoy that there's this function on here. So theirs will say hi and then their name. So mine says hi Megan. And then it'll have all of their assignments that are on here that the teacher has assigned. So it'll also give them a little synopsis. How many topics have they mastered? What they have done for practice and how well they're doing on quizzes. I really enjoy that, but then this under the your assignments, it has master topics, and this is a great function of this program because if there's a little bit of downtime during my reading block or, I've got to deal with something with my students, I can just say, hey guys, can you just go on to No Writing and go to Master Topics, because it lets them click on it and then they can choose whatever skill they want to learn more about. So let's just go to commonly confused words. You know, my teacher said I could have 5 minutes to do this, so I'm going to go to commonly confused words. All right. So this is what they will see. They will see the premium, you know. I just don't feel like the way that I'm using it right now in my classroom, it's worth buying it. So it's always got these two little buttons here. It's got the lesson that tells you the rules, basically it's versus its. So the students will read through this and they can also revisit this throughout the practice. So I'm going to go to practice, and this is what pops up. It gives you a little bit of tutorial, so I'm just going to like skip through the tutorial and get to the actual questions. Oops, okay. So does "it is" make sense in the blank below? The poodle chased "it is" tail. Not so much. No, it doesn't. And then it like does a little dance for me. So then we're just going to keep going. And this is how it populates out for your students as well. So which word should go in the blank? The poodle chased its tail. Well, this we know is "it is," so it's got to be this one. And then we're going to try another one. So that's the tutorial part. And then this is what actually comes up. So I really enjoy the functions as well. Obviously, they won't see this part. Is that it makes them type it in. So if they do something like a lowercase, then they submit it. Nope. Oh no. So it says I didn't quite get it. So then I can go and I can revise it. It does have them do 3 correctly in a row, and then they get a little bit more challenging. And this bar up here, I'm not sure if you can really see it, but there are little sections in the bar. And in order to master the topic, they have to have this whole bar filled up. So it does take a little while, but I feel like it really is beneficial for them. So I'm not going to edit my interests. I'm just going to end this here because it's going to make me do all of this before I can go back to my regular dashboard. But email me if you have any questions.